Welcome to Book World. Today we explore Diary of a Muslimmah, the sequel, a journey of faith, love, loss, ambition, and quiet courage. Through the pages of this diary-style memoir, Salma invites us into the tender intersections of womanhood as a mother, a wife, professional, and a believer. With Nafisat Amadu Abdulmalik at the helm of this book, it's for every woman navigating purpose, holding fast to faith, and stepping bravely into her calling. Join us as we reflect, imagine, and learn what it means to show up every single day. Welcome to Book World. I am Andrea Torhee, your host. Thank you for joining us, Nafisat.
Thank you so much for having me.
How are you doing today?
I'm okay.
I can see that. So tell us about Diary of a Muslimmah and what inspired you to write a sequel, and why did you build on the first version of the book?
Okay, Diary of a Muslimmah is a book that is for anyone who is trying to balance different roles, anyone who's seeking to live purposefully and intentionally. And I believe that my first time writing, I was just testing the waters, and I just wanted to tell my stories. It also came from a place of, because of the different things that I do have mentees who look up to me to say, how do you do this? How do you do this? And I decided to share some lessons in a book. So when I wrote the first one, I stopped at some point where the center character of the book, Salma, was pregnant and she was about to give birth. So of course, at the launch, people who had read it were like, when is the sequel going to come out? When is the sequel coming out? And this was 4 years ago. And I said, in a year or two, but life has been happening.
Yes.
And but I've been documenting, and I'm really excited that I was able to complete this project. And yes, the sequel is here.
Wow, that's interesting. I can only imagine people's anxiety after reading the first one. So now that the sequel is here, we can finally get answers to questions asked in the first one.
Yes.
And you spoke about mentees who wanted to know how you combine everything together. Can you tell us more about your work life, about Nafi Exquisite Services, and of course the Foundation for Women Empowerment and Youth? Okay,
so first of all, I have a 9-to-5. I work with the development sector as a manager, and I also have a business. And then I have a small organization which I founded, I think about 2-3 years back, focused on helping women and youth. And I'm also a mom. I have 3 kids. And yes, so at some point, when you're juggling these different roles together, building a career, people get to see me, and I'm quite known in the online space, on LinkedIn precisely. So when I post about my achievements, my struggles, I do get people who say, I want to learn from you. You're from the North. In the North, we're not used to our women being out there, pursuing a career, having a business, So what's going on with you? And you seem to be thriving. How are you able to do all of that? And, that bettered the mentorship program, which I currently I'm working on with, other like minds. For the business, I say we because myself and my team members, we consider it like, we're together. So we handle catering as well as consultancy services. So it's like a tripartite business. I'm not going to delve much more into it, but there's a team that helps me to manage that. So if you can imagine building a business, having a pet project, which is a mentorship, having my 9-to-5, and I'm also a mom. So at some point you think this is a lot.
It's a lot.
Chaos is bound to happen, right? But being able to instill intentionality into everything that I do has endeared, so many other women to me. And so I like to teach. What has worked for me. I'm not a gatekeeper of knowledge, so I like to share. If it works for other people, it's my joy to see them also thrive.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Now, you said so much about motherhood, about working, professional life, and all of that. Salma in the book is the main character.
Yes.
How much of this character reflects your own experience, and how much of it is just your imagination?
Interesting question. This is the first time anybody's asking me that. I would say 50-50.
Oh.
Yes, I would say 50-50 because some of the, topics in the book are founded from personal experiences, but to build on each maybe lesson, or to build on each entry, because it has like an entry format. The title is Diary of a Muslimmah.
Yeah.
So it's not like a diary per se, but there are different entries. Some are poems, some are Salma writing in her journal. And each of these entries is teaching a lesson. So to build on that, of course, I don't want my family and friends saying, you put my story in the book. So I had to build fictitious characters. I also have to play with the character a bit. Sometimes it's just perfect because there's some situations you read and you be like, oh, somebody did that or somebody said that. But then it's just my thoughts toward what the perfect mood for that particular entry should be. And then, like I said, 50-50, some of it is actually born out of personal experiences that I think would strengthen the reader to, be able to think more introspectively and see if this were me or if I was in these shoes, what would I do differently? How would I handle this? Or, should I act like Salma or should I go the opposite? So 50-50.
50-50.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I think that's the best way, Most writers put a little bit of themselves into their work, and it's obvious that Diary of a Muslimmah also has a little bit of you in it. Now, you've mentioned something about the book having different forms, poems and some diary formats. What made you choose that style of writing? Is this something you just picked up, or you saw it somewhere and you liked it?
I actually didn't. It was just me from beginning till end. I think the first edition, when I wrote it, one of my mentors at the time, who's also a writer, I wouldn't mention the name, said to me, I've not seen this style of writing. It's soulful, but at the same time, it's an easy read. So they were really worried about how acceptable it would be to the audience. But that also got me scared. But I was so happy when I saw so many people wanting copies and sharing their reviews. So it's not like I saw it anywhere, the format that I used. I just thought that it would be a great way to tell the stories, because if you are looking into the world of someone and you see what makes them, make certain decisions, you see what takes them, it would be good to be able to also say, how would I react if I were in that position, or what would I do? And so the poems is for creativity. So if you're not the bookie type, something will definitely strike you in the book, maybe the journal entries or the poem or the story itself.
Okay, wow, that's interesting.
Thank you.
Now, is there any part of the book that you would say was hard for you to include, and what made you finally decide to just put it in there, and why?
I would say it's the part about grief. There's an entry about grief and, being at ease, and how those two truths can coexist. Because I lost a number of people in 2024. If I'm counting to be exact, 8 people, friends and family at different times, all to health issues. Some as young as I am, some younger.
So sorry.
Yeah. And, you learn that somebody died today and you're grieving, right? And then something great is happening to you the next day and you're like, I shouldn't be excited, I should be grieving, and it's a battle for some people, struggling to accept, that they have to grieve, and they can also be okay whilst they are grieving. So that was really tough for me, trying to weave it into the story. And I think I hit my mark. I may have, because I know that somebody that I respect very well, that was her favorite part of the book, that grief can coexist with joy.
Wow, that's interesting. Grief can coexist with joy. I mean, it's difficult for a lot of people they tend to feel guilty when you're grieving and something great happens to you. You're like, oh, this person is not here to celebrate with me, so why should I celebrate?
Yeah, or the world will look at me like, I should be grieving, I should be mourning. Why am I happy?
Ambition shows in so many ways in this book with Salma. How is she able to balance it with her family?
I think it's also the intentionality. Salma works, through everything that she has to take on with planning. So she has a planner, her digital planner on her phone. She also has her journal where she writes down things that are important to her. So if you see some parts of the book before the next day, Salma is writing down what she wants to wear, what she's going to cook, and that helps to be able to balance, because sometimes you're like, I'll figure it out when I get to that point. But that's what leads to chaos. That's what leads to stress, mental stress, because at that point in time, you might be juggling with other realities that have come up that you were not expecting. But if you have a plan in place, like Salma usually did in the book, it would help to balance out the different roles that you take on. The truth is that you cannot have it perfect all the time. Sometimes there might be mishaps, but having a plan really helps to center everything else and kind of give like a guide. Okay, I'm coming from work by this time, or my last business call is at 4 p.m. and I have to start preparing for dinner. You already have the list of ingredients you need to get. So are they at home, or do I need to stop on my way from my meeting to get them? So planning really helps Salma to navigate all the different roles that she takes on.
Planning is really important. Yes. I hear a lot of people say, oh, when we get to that bridge, we'll cross it. But you need to plan before you get to the bridge.
Yes. At least put something in place. You might not have it all figured out, but then have something so that you never know. You might get there and you'll be like, that thing that you just put skeletally now saved the day.
That's true. Important lesson here with Diary of a Muslimah, and we're sharing with Nafisat. Please don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We're still here with Nafisat, and we're discussing Diary of a Muslimah, the sequel. Now, I want to ask you this very important question. How are you able to navigate writing about faith in a way that resonates with people who are just avid readers and others who are just curious about faith?
The truth is, when I was writing the book, I knew it was heavily centered on, faith, on belief. And I actually tried to, because I do have some different people in my network. Some of them are, they don't believe in religion, and atheists, that's it. Some of them are Christians, and then I'm a Muslim. And of course, I didn't write the book for everybody. But for those who are interested in, like I said, balance and, navigating into the world of a Muslim woman and seeing how certain things stand out for people like us who are ambitious. Now, I was thinking, faith, how is it going to be accepted, or would it be a receptive idea to the audience? And I tried to balance it with the terminologies that I used in the book. Yes, it is centered on the Muslim faith, but then for people who have that belief that there's an overarching power that orchestrates how we live our daily life or our choices, or just like a guide, knowing that the center character of the book relied on a force other than just her own mind. I think it would help any reader to understand that, beyond our successes, our trials, our challenges, when we find an anchor, be it whatever religion, we are, it'll be something that would really help us to be more purposeful in our decision making, in our day-to-day life. So yes, I try to find that balance using certain texts, using certain phrases that are really relatable, not just to Muslims, but then to anybody who has that that thought that there's a power, there's a center power that is outside everything else that we understand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you say there's a favorite part of the book? You have a favorite part of the book?
No, I can't choose.
You can't choose?
I can't choose.
There are so many parts that you really like. There's so many
parts of it that I really like. There's a part about, Salma is a Muslim, but then she has Christian friends and she attends a party. And, sometimes there's this, being reserved, being, not outgoing, and how it's necessary sometimes to let your hair down, hypothetically, and just relax, because life can be stressful.
Especially for women.
Because the society expects so much. Be this, be that, be your mom, nurture the kids, take care of your husband, take care of your dreams, don't lose yourself.
No, exactly.
Don't add too much weight, be this, be that. Everybody has an idea of what a woman should be doing. And having that balance, that community that reminds you that, it's okay to be different. She has the friends. A section of the book talks about her friends. A section of the book talks about her philanthropy. A section of the book talks about her difficult, acceptance of her body changing, becoming a mom. And a part of the book also talks about family relationships with her parents, with her siblings, and how, as everybody is growing up, there's this need to want to stay together and still maintain that family bond. So I can't really pick a favorite. I think I'm still struggling. Maybe at some point I will, but right now I'm still struggling.
Okay. Now, can you say that your writing process for the first book and the sequel are the same? Do you have any similarities or differences in your writing process for the two books?
Very different. Very different. I think the only thing that would really stand out for anybody who has read both will be that they're both an easy read. Yeah. Otherwise, I was growing as a writer. New experiences, new things that shaped my thought processes. So the story is about the same character, the same storyline, but the different thing I think that really stood out is the fact that each entry has its own story, has its own lesson. So I wouldn't say that they're the same. It's definitely different, and this sequel is fresher. It's more interesting, if I would say so, and it kind of wrap up the entire story. So there's no sequel after the sequel. This is it.
This is it.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about feedback now of the book, the sequel. What has the feedback been like, and was there anyone that surprised you or anyone that you were expecting to actually hear from people that you did hear or you did not hear at all?
So I'm still waiting for bad feedback.
Okay.
I don't know if I don't know about other creatives, but I think that when you get bad feedback, when I say bad feedback, I mean that's not really like yay for the book, something that tells you, oh, you should have worked on this or you should have done that. Why I say so is because I did give it to a number of people that I respect, and we had the launch last week where we had a panel talk about it, and for the first time I heard them speak about their thoughts on the book, and it's all been goosebumps and great feelings. So I'm still waiting for the first book. I did get a bad feedback which helped me to improve my writing, and it was just one where I heard that it's a diary, but the entries doesn't really flow like a diary.
Oh,
yeah. Okay. So I improved that in the sequel, and everybody who has read it so far has, given very nice feedback. One person that I know that is an author, an award-winning author, Mariam Tauban, has said to me, this book is a masterpiece. And I'm like, okay. So the feedback has been great generally. It's still new, so I'm still hoping that many other people would, get to read it and share their thoughts. And, the journey is to get better as a writer. So I'm not scared of, not so positive feedback. I actually welcome it because I think it will help me to grow as a writer.
Yeah. Like the one that helps you grow.
Exactly, to be able to
write
do this.
better, the sequel. Yes. Now, how do you hope this book will impact conversations around mental health for women? And even women in, your communities, I would say the foundation, for example.
I'm hoping it's going to be very impactful because Salma's stories tell the story of so many women who are juggling a lot and still trying to find purpose, still trying to find that balance where they're not losing themselves in their titles of a mom, of a wife, of an employee, or as a business owner, but that child, that girl, that person that when the curtains are down, you're still this person. And that's where our mental health is linked, because beyond what everybody sees us as, who we see ourselves as is what matters. And that's where our struggle or our success is defined from. So I'm really looking out for it to impact more women positively, and to remind them that it's okay to fail sometimes. Get back up. It's okay to let your hair down, and then when you need to focus, you need to focus. And then if you want to get a lot of things done with a little time span that we all have, plan, and execute.
We don't have 28 hours in a day like some people hope. We all have 24 hours, and all you need to do is plan. That's great.
And execute.
Should we expect more books from you?
Right now, I would say let's be calming down. I think I would write more, but I don't have anything in the offing right now. I'm not, unlike when I released the first book, I knew that there was a pressure to start writing and put something out. But this, I would like this to stew for a bit. No writing projects currently coming up, but I know that definitely in the future I would want to write more.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you could pick any lesson in the book, apart from mental health and, letting your hair down, that you want other people to learn, not just women now, from the book, and to remember, what would it be?
Hold on to God. Hold on to God. He is the anchor. Every other thing will fail. Hold on to God.
Wow, that's very important. That's very impactful. For writers who are afraid to show, the raw parts of their lives, do you have any advice to give them? Some people are willing to write their stories, or even at least share someone's story that would impact other people, but they're either afraid to start or they're starting, but they think their writing is not good enough. Do you have any advice for them?
Just start. Just start. Nothing is perfect at the beginning. Nothing is, this blockbuster at the beginning. You write, you get it wrong. And then if you have, a network of people who support you, even if they are not writers themselves, they can link you up with writers who will be able to point you in the right direction. But you need to start. Just start with maybe a sentence, a page. And before you know it, a manuscript is ready. So just start.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
You've heard her, just start. Salma's diary reminds us that every day holds layers of faith, silence, longing, loss, and hope. Diary of a Muslimmah, the sequel, is more than a memoir. It's a companion for anyone standing in crossroads of love and purpose. To the mothers, the wives, the dreamers, your story matters. Your faith endures. Your courage echoes. Thank you for joining us on Book World. May you feel seen, strengthened, and inspired to live more authentically. Until next time, keep writing, keep believing, keep growing.